Nice, huh? This is my model railway, circa 2006. For the past 15 years, it has resided in my grandmother's attic. I haven't seen it in 8 years, but as far as I know, it's still there. My grandfather had a thing for model railways, so it seems natural that his loving wife would be happy to give up her space for moi. Look at this model of Gordon. In 2002, this cost her £70. It is the most expensive model in my entire collection. My grandmother would buy me practically anything in those days. Now, when I was young and I wasn't playing with this railway and I wasn't watching Cartoon Network at odd hours of the night, I had a fair few videos to amuse me. Fox and the Hound, Lion King, Toy Story 2, Pinocchio, Storying Song Collection, and of course, Adventures in Kettle Land. It wasn't as much as what I had at home, but for a monthly sleepover, it worked for me. There's a story here that I'm a little vague on details wise. 20 years later, I'm trying to piece everything together. In 1998, I came across something worthwhile in Asda. I suspect the discovery was at the same time I was buying My Little Thomas. Unfortunately, my mother wasn't going to shell out cash for this thing. This one had only 5 episodes. I only owned one of them at that point, and it was cheaper than the other set. At this point, I already owned about 80% of the stories in this collection. If I already owned more than half, it wasn't going to happen. She bought me Little Thomas. Not this. Oh, bollocks. Not to worry, I know someone who'd buy it for me. I see my grandmother soon after. I ask if she'd buy it, and of course, she says yes. Had she known that I already owned every single thing in this collection, she probably would have said otherwise. But fortunately, that wasn't the case. Booyah! I get my way. She takes me to this very shopping centre in Dunfermline and picks up the complete first series of Thomas the Tank Engine. As the title suggests, what we have here is all 26 episodes of the first season of Thomas & Friends. Why do I need this? I already own 4 videos from season 1, already giving me 26 episodes. I don't need this release. That's what I would say these days, and is exactly the reason why I never bought the 30th anniversary of Back to the Future. But then again, it was 1988. I was barely 5 years old. All I knew is that this box contained an ungodly amount of content from my favourite TV series of all time. I had to have it. I had to have everything. So this remained at Lochgelly for many years, until eventually it was moved over to my house, and it's remained with me ever since. These 2 videos, along with 2 videos of Cartoon Network, are all that remains of my Lochgelly video collection. Well, let's have a look at this quote-unquote treasure trove. VCI, go figure. It's always VCI this or big red rectangle thingy that. So we have a promo for various Thomas releases, like Story and Song Collection. Maybe I could talk about that sometime. Oh, right. Okay, what about Chases, Races and Runaway? Oh, well, shit. There's only so many Thomas videos I could talk about. I barely owned any of these. And as for the rest of this, I've covered all this before. I assure you, my opinions on Sooty, the BFG, and these stupid bears have not changed. Moving on, so as you may have noticed, this release comes with 2 videos. Episodes 1 through 13, Thomas and Gordon through Thomas Turns on the Snow, come on tape number 1, and episodes 14 through 26, Thomas and Bertie through Thomas's Christmas Party, are on tape number 2. Once again, I owned every episode at this point, so as a 25-year-old, I see the purchase as redundant. As a 5-year-old with an easily pleased brain, however, I saw it as the best thing ever. But even then, I knew it wasn't going to beat Chases, Races and Runaways, and it probably came down to the lack of variety. With Chases, while it had 8 fewer episodes, it had a bigger range, covering 4 seasons, 18 episodes overall, only 6 of which I owned prior to this release. This big set, on the other hand, 26 episodes, 8 more than Chases, but I still owned them all already. In a way, it's like I'm just watching these 4 videos one after another for 2.5 hours. So in the end, is it worthy? As a kid, yes. As an adult, eh. It depends on what you already have. Do you have these 4? If the answer is yes, then don't bother, unless you'd rather have them all on 2 cassettes as opposed to 4. Then again, with DVDs so prominent in this day and age, the release would logically be even less of an eye-catcher. So maybe, if you care about the series more than I do and you're pro VHS, then sure, it'll probably win for you. I barely watch the show anymore, so I'd personally pass. You know, at this point, I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of Thomas, and I'm sick of Cartoon Network. I'm going back to Disney.